What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Haney, aka Scion of BeyondFrameData, and today I'm joined with
Monkey Business, Matt Hogan. Happy to interview our guest, Zaferino.
Can you put the camera on him really quick? Okay, I'm satisfied. Hello.
and
Earthlings.
Zaferino Barros. If you guys don't know, it just goes by Zaferino. He's been, if you heard of New England fighting game community, you've heard of Zaferino. He's the single-handedly been carrying this this scene really on his back in terms of Street Fighter. Really happy to get this interview going, man. How you doing? How you feeling?
Are you flattered enough? Because I could also call you the most prominent streamer in the region, at least for Street Fighter.
I'm also
the sole
sitting at
Sagat
this top.
representative. The sickest art piece for the Blink Esports exhibition.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, shut up.
Also,
That
he's in
was
his
dope.
costume. You see that?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got the do-rag on. I had to stay true to the character.
Very canon.
Yes.
Very
This has
canon.
been a long time interview we've been looking forward to. So just to open it up, to start us, what got you into fighting games? Take us all the way back. What got you into fighting games at all? What got you into Street Fighter? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Which camera do I look in? I want to make
Neither.
eye contact.
You can close your eyes.
So, I will tell you, in this alternate universe. So, let's see. I was hanging out with a friend. I was at my friend Marcus's house. This was in high school, 2010, August 2010, going into senior year of high school. Right? And they were playing Soul Calibur.
Okay.
Right? And I didn't care for Soul Calibur. I just,
Yeah.
whatever. Thought Yoda was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
These were Soul Calibur 4.
It must be 4
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
360.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But I didn't want to play it. So they were like, Zeph, you don't want to play? I was like, no. I was like, you guys don't have like Tekken or Street Fighter? And
Yeah.
then they were like, oh, Nathan has Street Fighter. And I was like, oh, all right. I have Nathan, right? And I don't think I've ever really hung out with Nathan. We all went to middle school together, right?
Okay.
This is high school. So they were a lot closer to Nathan than I was. So Nathan's on the phone. He's like, yeah, I'll bring it over. Mind you, we don't have cars.
Right.
Nathan lives like a good 30, 40-minute walk
Like,
away.
wait.
It's like 45 minutes. I'm not even joking. And he's like, yeah, I'll bring it over. And it didn't hit me until like he got to the doorstep. I was like, wait, you just walked here? Like the Oracle. Like he literally appeared with it and he just left. So he came and he just walked back.
Damn, is
I
that a
was
sign?
like,
That's
what?
supposed to be a sign.
That was the weirdest shit ever.
Delivering a message.
Is that a sign?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse, but like.
Oh,
what the hell?
no. Don't worry about it.
That's probably the most PG curse.
Oh, okay,
We can
cool.
keep that one.
Cool. Yes, I'm like, what? This is strange. This is strange as hell. So, fast forward, we're playing, when I'm playing with my friend Marcus. I pick Ryu, he picks Chun-Li.
Okay.
Marcus is the type of dude that, he picks up things so fast, right?
Oh, so he's like natural.
Yeah, he just starts doing, like, legs. He was doing super with Chun, like, charge,
Yeah.
right? Doing super, he did ultra. I was like, what the hell? And I'm just playing Ryu. I'm trying to do
Go
fireballs.
forward, fireball.
And I just kept getting jump, kept doing all these weird things, right? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, whatever. So we leave training mode and then we like play or whatever, right? And we're playing and I'm just bodying him. I was just bodying him and I was just like, what the hell? So we're playing, and then like after X amount of time, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go downstairs and watch the TV. But I stayed in his room and I just kept playing, and I was like, this is so weird because when you look at a fighting game,
Yeah.
the first thing you think of are the special moves. Oh my God, whoever could do the special moves
You're the
is
you're the
incredible.
ball.
You're Michael Jordan.
You're the beast.
You have 6 rings, all right? You are undefeated in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I beating him this bad? I don't even think I lost a match.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't lose a match. I just kept beating him. And I couldn't throw a fireball. So I was like, how am I beating him? So I went in training mode and I learned how to throw a fireball. And I was like, okay. And I just kept practicing. And then, the next day or whatever, I hit up Nathan. I'm like, yo, this game's pretty dope. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's-
don't know why I like
let's
this game. I was like, do you play this game? He's like, yeah. He's like, there's actually a big scene. There's championships people play for money around the world. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And at the time, it was Justin TV. Right? So
Yeah.
he's like, yeah.
Right.
So Evo was in August, I think, around that time.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, Evo was coming up or something like that, or already happened or something. And then we watched it together or whatever. And he invited me over. We never hung out. He invited me over. We played.
Evo
He was
2010?
bodying me.
2010? Evo
Yeah.
2010?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was the one where he
Daigo
beat Ricky.
won. Daigo beat Ricky.
Yeah. And, dude, I was just... I was like, this is incredible. And then, yeah, I just bought the game. I asked my brother for an arcade stick. My god brother. I just say he's my brother because we're so close. I asked him for an arcade stick for Christmas. But then I begged him. I was like, yo, can I get it early? And he was like, yeah, I got you. And he just bought it. And I went and I picked it up from his house. I took a bus from Brockton.
Oh my god.
And you know the
Shout out to
TE2,
Brockton.
the round 2, you know, the original Mad Cats, those things were massive. So I'm walking around with this big box on the Ashmont bus, and I'm just like staring at it like that kid on the Willy Wonka when he got the golden ticket.
It's like a
yeah, I was like, what is this power? And I'm just so excited. And I remember I went
Dope.
home, man. It was. So I'm skipping a lot of it, but that was basically like the big moments. Like, you know, in between is funny stuff. Like, I played my cousin's boyfriend at the time. He played Sagat, I was playing Ryu, and he was bodying me. But we had this weird rivalry where I just talked shit and whatnot. But then fast forward, that's when I got the arcade stick, and then
So what was it? Okay, so it's love ever since, right? From then on forward.
I don't think that's when I fell in love with it. I was just super intrigued by it.
Okay.
Right? I think when I fell in love
Talk
with
to me
it
about that. Yeah.
was,
Is there one defining moment in your entire Street Fighter history that was like, this is it. This is what I want to do?
I think it was my first time going to GU.
Okay.
Right. That was like my first experience. That and Super Bowl.
Okay.
Did you go to Super Bowl? That was in Lowell, I think. I believe it was like the Asian Tom tournament.
Oh no, I didn't go to that.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about though. I didn't go to that.
Yeah, so I think that was the first tournament I went to. My friend Brian. So
Brian?
I had listen to this. So I had a neighbor, right? I hadn't seen in like 10 years. He had graduated or something. He's just having a birthday, whatever. And he moved away, and then he moved back near my area, like literally 2 streets away. So he had a birthday cookout or something like that, and I went there, and I was playing Street Fighter at the time, right? And he has a friend named Brian, because he was like, oh, I was talking about like Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, there was like a drought. There was no tournaments like at GU or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, my friend Brian goes to Super Bowl or whatever. And then I met Brian at that cookout, and then we were talking. He's like, yeah, I'll bring you, why not? And I was like, all right. So he brings me there, and then I meet like, you know, Asian Tom and all these dudes, and you know, that's what kind of like, I was like, yo, this is an addictive feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm naturally competitive, so I just like being the best. I like being the best person in the room. I like being first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just natural for me. It's not because I think I'm better than you as a human being.
No, it's just who you are.
It's just nature, and it's just a matter of, I know that you want it as bad as me, so you're gonna force me to be beyond my capacity. So that's addicting. I like that. So
I like that.
When I went to my first tournament, I got wiped. I got obliterated. You know, like, remember when Seto Kaiba got hit by Exodia? That was me, right?
Obliterated.
It just absolutely, except for I just didn't have a nice
there's like a dark fat clown Zaf out there. There's like an evil,
possibly. You know what I'm saying? It was something like that, and you know, I don't like to settle. You know what I'm saying? So when you get that loss, man, it's just nonstop. It's nonstop.
Do you remember who you lost to? Do you remember the character?
I'm pretty sure it was Blanca.
It was Blanca.
I'm
unfortunate.
1,000%.
It's usually. He had no idea.
I am 100% because we played a team tournament. I think at that same Super Bowl tournament.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it was like Blanca or some shit. That wasn't even my first tournament match because I went to GU before that, but that was when it really like ratcheted up. When I went to Super Bowl, I was like, oh yeah, this is.
Now
in the formative experience of your Street Fighter life, you talked about playing with friends. Nathan bringing it over, for example. When were you able to graduate, as we might say, from talking shit with friends and playing to then going to a local? And did you do that alone, or did somebody else initiate you in that regard?
I knew I was graduating when I was beating Nathan's ass. That's when I knew. That's when I knew.
You're like, I'm good.
Because he played Blanca.
You're like, I'm official. It's official now.
So that was like, damn, this is the character I lost to, and you play him? Like, so when I was wiping him, that's when I knew. I was like, I need to find bigger, stronger opponents. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a thirst, man. I always I seek the person that's better than me. I always find them and just, I see what they do. I see what I'm not doing. What are they doing better than me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I measure from that, you know?
think this leads perfectly into my next question, which is you've been across a multitude of opponents, a multitude of people throughout your entire FGC career. So it's like, what is a strength you feel you have naturally that didn't even just come with just playing? What is something that you do inside the game that you feel like, all right, this is definitely my strength. This is like something I'm, whether it be like anti-air, whether it be projectile, whether it be, I don't care, what is it, reading your opponent, like, what is a strength you have inside the game, and what is a strength, and do you feel like that carries it outside the game?
So this is a great question because I didn't know my strength until like 2 years ago. I've been playing for 10 years.
Yeah.
So mind you, it's 2020, right?
Yeah.
I started in August 2010. It's been 10 years. I didn't know my strength, and it was annoying because I'm the type of person. This is a lot from from conditioning from childhood. I focus on the negative naturally. Humans do that naturally, but then on top of that, with conditioning, it's
double down.
It's double down, right?
Yeah.
It's like even hammered further and further. So I would always focus on my weaknesses, and I never understood my strengths. So I formed this weird inconsistency because I didn't know. So it's funny because I would be kind of jealous of people that were autopilot because I was like, how do they win the same way all the time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was subconscious. After I got older and wiser, more mature, I was reflecting on it. Like, where are these emotions like leading to, right? Like, where do they come from? What's the source of this? Because on the surface, yeah, you can blame it on somebody, but I'm not the type of person to blame things. I take too much accountability for things, even things I know I can't control, like the weather. I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I wake up the right way so it could have been sunny outside?
Yeah.
That's the type of person I am, right? So, naturally, I like to just focus on the weaknesses. So I see these flowchart players, online players, and I'm like, damn, how are they doing it? And I wondered, like, yo, what's my strength? What is it? And then I realized, I was like, yo, it's learning. Yo, that's my superpower, is learning, 100%. The reason why I can read people is because I learned them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason why I can come up with tech because I'm learning tech. You know what I'm saying?
You like to learn.
Yeah.
You enjoy learning new shit.
Right.
It doesn't scare you to be a beginner.
Right. I don't have, execution in 4 was one of my things, right?
Yeah.
But I don't naturally have execution. What happened was I sat there for hours and learned how to have a good execution. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was the key. It's learning how to do these things that other people are doing.
And you're addicted to it.
Right.
How did you discover that you are good at learning?
Because when I was super obsessed, when I was like, 20, I was like around 22-ish, right? So this is 5 years ago. So this is towards the end of Street Fighter.
Ultra.
Yeah, right? This is like Ultra.
2014, 15?
Yeah, 2014, 15, that era. I was obsessed with learning things outside of Street Fighter to help me in Street Fighter. So I did boxing, I did breakdancing, I did choreography, I did chess, I did...
Damn.
Yeah, I did like a bunch of random things, right?
So you could chess box?
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did all these things because I wanted to learn, like how do I...
You want to learn other shit that you just didn't know.
Yeah, and
You
just
just
how do I
like
apply
learning.
it to the game. Everything was about the game. That was my universe, you know what I'm saying? It was like, how do I do this?
Okay.
Right? I studied relationships to see, like, how do I develop empathy so I can understand people more, less selfishness and more caring. How do I be more objective? How do I pay attention to... How do I make things about them instead of me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you structure your learning in any particular way, or do you freeform it and study?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really have structure. It's kind of... I guess there is structure, because there's structure in, in free form, and it's like there's discipline in not having discipline, right? And all sorts of stuff like that. So I think my thing was to just always dial back to what do I want? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I want to dominate, if I want to win, what am I doing that? No, obviously, because I'm asking that question. So then why
It's
am
almost
I
like
not?
a tree chart, right?
Yeah.
You're like, no. Okay, from here, how do I... Yeah.
I just
Cool.
do that over and over and over again.
Okay.
Right. And when I don't, that's when I stagnate. And when that happens, it's because my ego. I get really happy with a way I'm playing or something like that.
Oh my god, that's
You
so
know
much
what I'm
like
saying?
me. You'll take a result and you're like, cool, I'm the best now. You're like, I can sit on this for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my thing is, my bad. My thing is, I try to, when I learn things too, I try to find the ultimate truth. And I didn't realize I was doing this, so I was trying to figure out what is the one thing. If I figure it out, I don't have to learn anything else. But there's no one thing, it's a series of things. Because that one thing it transmutes into something else, so...
A lot of pressure to learn the ultimate thing, man. I was talking with Brad, New England's finest commentator,
Shouts to
I must
Brad.
say, and we all remember surely that he was not trying to be the strongest player, and he then went down the path of commentary very dedicatedly. And in commentary, your job is to talk and to articulate and convey an understanding of the game's events. He, doing that on commentary, has now gone back and started playing fighting games again and feels so much stronger and more powerful and has this understanding of how his actions can influence an opponent. So if you're looking for like ultimate truths, do you feel you can have it only when you can say it with words and articulate it, or is it a combination of different sentences and ideas all bouncing around at once, you know? I'm not asking anything in particular other than like, as a streamer you talk a lot, of course, right? If you're trying to learn on stream, are you looking for like a conclusion at the end of the paper that you've been writing in your head, trying to learn something for 10 years and be able to say it? Or would you rather like hold it in your head and kind of show it with gameplay?
So obviously I stream, right? So when it comes to like teaching, I have to understand the style of learners, right? So I try to convey things in as many different ways as possible. For me personally, I know I understand something when I do it and I don't think about it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't even do that. Oh. You know, because your hands have its own intelligence, right? So if I don't intentionally do something, but it occurs consistently, that's when I know.
You're like, okay, I look into this. Why is this happening?
You know, like good habits or bad habits, right?
Either way.
Yeah. So I think I'm very like natural at conveying things. Mm-hmm. Because my brain is weird as hell, right? So, like, I just have so many ways and angles of looking at, like, a cup, right? Like, you look at a cup, and it can be a cup to one person, but then it can also be a hat, right? Yeah. That's how I think about information. Right. It's like, what else can I do with this one thing of information, right? Or this one cup, you know? And I think that's what helps me with that. I don't know if that...
That's improv
sand
right
cup.
there.
Yeah. All right, I can't flip it.
Can you change colors while, like, he does that? Can you make it, like... jump back and forth between colors?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is going to be the drop.
Go ahead.
Have licensed dubstep.
I was just about to say, yo, you read my mind. That's crazy. I was going to say dubstep, and I hate dubstep.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so you don't like the Queen's theme,
man. Just get to me.
However, you can still watch my montages online from 2010 featuring dubstep and first-person shooters.
I mean, that was the mode back then.
Yeah, that was like, thank God.
That was where I used to compete before fighting games.
Interestingly enough, going back to structure, because you were talking about structure, I don't know if you want to reveal this on air, I suppose, but what is your training structure look like? Do you have a specific routine? Do you have a regimen set up, or do you just kind of, when you hit the lab, you're kind of like, this is the overall goal, but I don't even know how I'm going to go about it? Or do you hit the lab and you're like, you know what, I'm doing 700 of this per day?
Okay, so let's say if I'm not streaming, I have goals, right? And they're like with little check boxes or whatever, right?
Okay.
And I read this book called The One Thing, so I generally try to go off of this, right? Where it's like, choose the one thing that if you do it, everything else that's on this list is going to be easier to do or even unnecessary. Because sometimes we get so caught up in just doing, we don't realize that we don't need to be doing certain things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I will ask myself, all right, out of walking forward, frame trapping, fireballs, traps, movement recognition, whatever the theme is, like based off of like my losses, I'll be like, what's the one thing if I do this, it'll probably make everything easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I start with that, and man, let me tell you, when I don't stream, that's the best training. Like, some people can train, like Dio can train when he streams, right? I really can't train when I stream. I can talk about it and convey it, and it's a form of training because it helps me reinforce things, right? When I have to convey things or explain things or I hold myself accountable in front of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when I am in my complete Zen mode, it is when the lights are just dim and I am just
camera's
playing.
off. Yeah.
I will play 8 hours and not even realize it. I won't drink. I won't eat. I will not use
Best
the
weight
bathroom.
loss.
And I really,
Right there.
that's why I'm like
The
really
best weight
skinny.
loss tactic right there.
I work in volume. It's weird, man. Like when I read a lot. Right? When I study a lot.
I get that.
You
yeah,
know,
I
and
get that.
it's borderline like insane, probably for a lot of people. But
You don't half and half anything.
I cannot do. Listen to me, cameras. You're listening and looking at me, but listen.
Perk the ears of
listen,
the cameras.
Listen, cameras and microphone.
Yeah.
I cannot be 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. I cannot be, lightly touching the gas. It's 100% or 0% with me. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I would not do this interview unless I was like, all right, this is the day to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I feel good doing it. Like I have to make sure I am supremely like in it.
I hate when one of my feet is halfway in the door and the door slams and I lose toes and
Ooh.
skin.
Jesus.
Happens all the time.
Oh.
Like being able to actually truly focus when I can achieve it is so helpful to me.
Mhm.
Because it's probably a lot more rare than when you and other people can have it. Fighting games though is one of the, while playing actually in matches, is one of the only places I can actually get that.
Mm.
Not reading, not watching, writing even is harder for me. But playing an opponent, 100% of my attention is there. So I appreciate the hell out of that.
Focus is just it's actively committed attention, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's like you're actively committing your attention towards something. You have to. The key word is active. You're consciously and actively determining what you're doing at every given moment.
Sleep.
That's it. You
can't sleep.
You don't have to have this hyper focus where you're like on
Nice.
Adderall. It's just like at any given moment you have to have awareness.
Mhm.
And awareness is the most important thing because you can't change things if you don't know they exist.
Yeah.
Right. So awareness is super critical, and then being courageous enough to make a decision regardless of your emotions, because your emotions are I think the most important thing to master in this universe because it defines your reality. Right? You can know something's good for you, but not do it because of your emotions.
Right.
Right? You can know something's bad for you and do it and partake in those things because of your emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
It's the steering wheel.
yeah, mastery of your emotions is not being able to change them, in my opinion. It's just to be completely in tune with it, but not engulfed by it. You know what I'm saying?
That reminds me, if I may, sorry,
Mhm.
of one of my favorite stories I've ever heard told in the FGC, which is you describing the process of your own pop-off at Rebel Conquest Boston
Oh.
2017. A lot of people focus too hard on trying to focus the right way. They need their headphones set up while playing. They need to tune out all of the crowd chatter, any emotions that may bring. You looked in the crowd and saw your nephew after Dominion took one game on you and tied it up 1-1, afraid of what would usually happen to you, which was reverse 2-0.
I saw the edits too. I was like, the
Yeah.
pain is back.
Yeah, right? Only at 1-1, but you were able to see him, your family, and not let the pressure of performance, of finally winning in front of them, destroy you and limit your play. Would you mind illuminating a little bit more on the process of like channeling emotion into something positive in play?
Yeah, of course. The first thing is you have to have full acceptance. You can't beat yourself up. That's something that I'm still working on. I'm human.
Good question.
You cannot beat yourself up. The difference between that and other situations is I was aware of my emotions, but it was the acceptance.
No, it's
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
it's always that. It's always
acceptance.
Yeah.
Because the thing about energy is what? It cannot be created or destroyed.
It's just redistributed.
It just
Yeah.
redistributes. So where does it go?
Emotional energy too, yeah.
Right. So where does it go? You see what I'm saying? So it's all about your focus. You see what I'm saying? But if you're conflicted, if you are choosing, choice is a form of confusion because it's like you have to assess. I don't have time to assess. I just accept the reality of my emotions at that moment. But I also accepted that this is what needs to happen. This is what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To not be a prisoner to this thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That was the bigger thing for me. I was like, nah, no. So even though my nephew was there, in reality, I was really talking through him and talking to myself because I was tired. You know what I'm saying? You get to a breaking point. That was my breaking point. I was like, yo, I'm tired of losing to these conditions and making excuses and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So recently in Street Fighter Five, you've obviously been playing a multitude of characters, right? You've played Sagat, Seth, and Akuma. In Street Fighter Four, you primarily focused on Fei Long.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you would be, what goes in your mind when deciding a main, or when deciding, all right, I'm gonna play this character? What aspect of that character stands out to you, or what makes that conscious decision?
So when I was young and dumb, right, and I had a full hairline, what I used to focus on was
edit
just,
that.
yeah, it's just a high.
You open up, it's just the brain.
Yeah, it's just,
So
it's just
many-
my dreams and nightmares.
That's
just
why mine are
words.
so big too, dude. I can't show anyone.
I'm
These.
trying to tell you. So my thing when I was younger was I loved Bruce Lee. I originally
Keep
played
the jacket.
Akuma,
Yeah.
but my cousin was playing Fei Long when I was in his basement or whatever, and he was like playing Fei Long, and I was like, damn, I love Bruce Lee. This is kind of dope. This character's cool. And I started playing him, and then I just learned a lot with him and understood the ground game and footsies and all that stuff. I thought I had to learn Fei Long to learn footsies because, he was a grounded character, right?
Yeah.
But more so in Street Fighter V, I learned characters because of the challenge they present. So,
I
like,
see.
Fei Long was a very ground-based, slow moving wall, right? When I played Karen, I hated the fact that she was a fake Fei Long. She wasn't Fei Long, but I was trying to play her like Fei Long. And I knew my stubbornness. I was like, this is going to be too difficult at this stage of my life to try to learn this character objectively. So I was like, I can't do this. I was like, what is the one thing I want to learn how to do, though? I was like, I want to learn how to play fast. So then I played Cammy. Shout out to Kaizen Master, because he's the one that told me, he's like, oh, learn a fast character like
Shout out
Cammy.
to Kaizen Master.
And we were still working together in 5, so he's like, oh, just learn Cammy, and I was like, all right, I don't really know how to play fast, and he showed me, like we usually do. We went through the rounds, and, fast forward, I played Cammy for X amount of time, right? I think it was CEO 2017, I believe. He recommended I learn a Fireball character, right? So that summer, when I went home, I played a little bit of Nash, and I didn't know how to throw fireballs. So I remember, I was telling you earlier when he was like, when you learn something, just do that. Make that your universe. That's all you care about. So I literally, I have like this dilemma when I learn, that I get so excited that I start to deviate. I start to go down a rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my god, but what about this? What about this? But then I forget to practice the original thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I end up not really working on the original thing, which is why I don't like streaming when I train, because I have to talk to people, and then it makes it easier for me to forget why I'm doing what I'm doing. Right?
Yeah.
So, I didn't know how to throw a fireball, so I literally made this mini game in my head where I played a week on ranked, where I did not move forward
Oh my god.
or backwards. I only could neutral jump.
Stream that, man.
I
Come on.
was
That's a great
thinking
idea.
about doing it again. I literally, this is how I learned how to throw fireballs. I was like, I'm gonna neutral jump, stay still, and anti-air. That's it. So I literally was playing Nash and just throwing fireballs and anti-airing and
don't
throwing
even-
fireballs and anti-airing. That was it.
With no DP.
With that's it. And I would occasionally do like heavy kick scythe reads, like what's his name? Nashiro. Jug.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Jug. Right? Jug would do that. And I was funny because I was doing that before.
Yeah.
I was like just committing, and it helped me with a lot of different skills, like
Oh my God, that
being
Nash player.
preemptive and stuff like that. He's really good. But yeah, that's how I was learning that. And so
That's
I just
brute
try to
force,
find,
man.
yeah,
That
try to
is brute
find,
force.
yeah, I try to find themes that will like challenge my weaknesses directly. 'Cause remember, I said I want to learn things.
Is there anyone in particular you share like these training exercises with who also helps you build new ones, or are they often just completely your own creation?
I'm a very isolated dude, to be honest. So I do a lot of stuff by myself. Travel by myself. Right, I went to Japan by myself.
Yeah.
Go to tournaments a lot by myself.
It sounded like the first local you went to was by yourself. too.
Yeah. So like, it's not that like I'm secretive about it. It's
Yeah.
just like things will spawn, right? Like ideas will spawn, and I just run and I just do them. And I have so much notes, it's overwhelming, man. And unless somebody asks me, if somebody asks me, then I'll answer that question,
Yeah.
right?
You're
But
not
I
gonna hide.
never.
It's not a-
Yeah, I rarely ever go to somebody and be like, hey, I have this idea for this, blah, 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 right?
Yeah,
I'll ask people for feedback or stuff like that, but yeah, typically I just kind of like make these things up on the fly. Like when I try to learn how to pressure with light attacks, I only played with light attack.
yeah.
Right? But that was Kaizen that gave me that idea. He inspired that. But
Yeah.
he's the person I would say like I would the most talk about Street Fighter with by far. Yeah, because we would talk about everything.
Because recalling his videos,
Shout out to Kaizen.
he has videos
I can't
of
wait
just
for that.
using
Come on.
one tool in particular in as many different ways as possible to illustrate variety of use and the kind of dominance you can achieve by never hesitating and acknowledging many possibilities at once and automatically acting, accounting all of
I
them.
think the main thing about Kaizen Master that sticks out is he wants to get you out of that rigid way of thinking about how a move's supposed to work.
Yeah.
So he's tired of like people looking at Tatsu, for example, and being like, Tatsu's only used as a combo ender.
Yeah,
Or Tatsu is
right.
only. So he's like, you could use Tatsu as a reversal, as like a he wants to get you to look at it, even if it fails. He doesn't take any issue with a move failing.
Mhm.
To him, that's just learning something else about the move.
Yeah.
So it doesn't dissuade him, and I think like that's really good. I think people are too set in their own ways of how something's supposed to work that they care about learning. Then they care about learning about how the move is.
Yeah.
Yeah, naturally, I think I was listening to an audiobook today and it was saying how humans focus on the what and the how, but it's the why that drives you. It's the why that pushes innovation. You know what I'm saying? Like even Apple, look at how they market, right? They talk about the whys.
Yeah.
Like if people were if they were concerned with the what's and the hows, they wouldn't have a phone with one button.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
the why that is compelling. You know, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Have you ever read his book on flow? I think I've been talking about it on stream a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
No.
His book Flow. It talks about how to achieve the optimal state of enjoyment, it's pleasure mixed with challenge. Because pleasure is fleeting, right? But
Yeah.
when you introduce challenge with pleasure, it becomes a part of your character, and you take your character with you everywhere you go, right? So it is a like an elevated state of enjoyment that you carry with you. So when you don't have challenge, life becomes meaningless, right?
Yeah.
You don't care anymore.
Yeah. So even if I get pissed off, excuse my language. Even if I get pissed off, if I get salty and stuff like that, I know deep down in my heart it's like, yo, this is necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm thankful for every challenge I've come across because it's something I can say that nobody can take away from me. Like winning an LBC with
That's
Sagat.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, nobody can ever take. There's nothing. Nobody's done
I
that.
think that point in time is owned by you, right? That I don't care what happens tomorrow or the day before it. That moment, that's Zaf. That's all. That day, what's up? Like
That's Zaferino Sagat.
that Honda.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was dope. That,
Independently, like that's like without. Because there are things that I'm actually more proud of, like helping people.
Yeah.
But like just solely Zaf, that is my crowning achievement by far. Because
I think that
nobody
leads
can take that away from me.
perfectly into the next question. Actually, this transitions right into: do you have a favorite set? You've been playing the game for 10 years. Do you have a favorite set that really stuck out to you in your head? It doesn't even have to be a set that you played, but is there a set that you've even looked at, watched? You're like, that is my favorite set of all time.
Oh man, I wish it was recorded. It was my set against Tokido.
Yeah.
Oh, in it's Combo Breaker, right?
Nah, that's CEO.
Yeah.
When I lost, no, I'm
That was
talking
on
about
stream.
Yeah, that was on
Yeah.
stream.
So I was like,
Man, if you could put me
you talking
there,
about CEO?
I would have destroyed Tokido. No, it was Canada Cup. This is the year Sagat came out, so this
Okay.
was literally 3 months because he came out in August. So this is like 2 months later, right?
Okay.
And we're in the Japanese suite, right? Like Canada Cup had moved to Toronto in the more recent years.
Yeah.
So before it was in Vancouver. So I was in the Japanese suite. It was Problem X, Daigo, Fudo, all the Japanese players you
All
can
the
think
heads.
of.
Yeah.
All of them were there. And I got in from Itazan because Itazan and was it Itazan?
Well, actually, no. Itazan's English is actually pretty
Yeah, it's
good.
pretty
Yo, I don't
spectacular.
think people know that. Yeah.
It's
He
actually
smiles,
pretty
but he
good.
knows better vocab than I do. It's crazy.
Yeah, so he got me in there, and I remember I was watching them play, right, and I'm just like enjoying it. And the reason I'm gonna bring this up, I'm gonna tie this back to the book. The reason why this set, it's always gonna stick out.
I
in my
love
head.
it. I love it.
So Tokido is asked by Problem X, right?
Mm.
He's like, "Oh, what do you think of?" Problem X loves doing this, where he like asks loaded questions, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, "What do you think of Sagat versus Akuma?" Right? And Tokido's like, "Oh, our matchup is horrible,
Knowing you're
right?
there.
It's terrible, right? Whatever." And
Yeah.
I was like, I think Sagat wins it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh no." He's like, Akuma went free. I was like, I don't think
Tokito
so.
don't hold back either.
I was like, I don't think so. And then we played. So it was the first of three. Everybody's playing first of threes.
Okay.
And I won 3-0. Yeah, I won 3-0. Mind you, he didn't he win that tournament?
Canada Cup.
I think he won
You
that
have to look
tournament.
back. Did he get first?
I don't
Maybe. I'd have to
I'll
look
look
back
it
on
up.
it.
You
I
guys
think,
keep
I think
talking,
he
I'll
won
get
that
it.
tournament.
We need to
So
look back on it.
we we play and I win 3-0 and
Oh, Tokito, what's up?
And he was
Talk
like-
about it.
I remember when he got up, he's like,
Yeah, he does that.
Oh,
He
yeah,
does that.
that
and,
hurt.
he got, and
That
Daigo
hurt.
was watching too, which is the dope part, right? So this is my father, obviously. So he's like watching,
We're gonna
like,
get
wow,
more
this
into
is
your
my
dad
big
here.
nosed son that I didn't know I had from the Americas.
Wait, so Daigo has two big nose sons?
No, he's clearly adopted. I can't believe you even said that. I'm sorry.
I play Guile.
Man,
Is the book around here?
I play Guile. My yes,
I'm
it's my.
sorry.
Yeah, my dad's written book.
We were trying to figure out a way to tell you.
Gonna break into dad's door. Is it true?
I know.
Is it true?
You know, busting with the flat top, the guile flat top,
with the hitbox? Did
Yeah.
you see him?
and Daigo's just bottles of his favorite alcoholic beverage. What is it? Sake?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Billion cans of Red Bull, though.
I think he's more a Sapporo kind of guy.
Oh, Sapporo, yeah, that's what it is. Right. But yeah, it was dope, and I was studying Japanese a little bit at the time, so it's funny hearing them say stuff about Sagat after that set. I couldn't tell you exactly what they said, but I know they were talking about Sagat.
Oh.
You could hear it. You could hear it.
Yeah. They were like, well, maybe he's not as bad as we thought he was, type stuff,
Yeah.
But the reason why that stuck out to me was because during the set, this has only happened to me twice in my life. That
This is your favorite set of
That I
all
can
time.
remember.
This is your favorite set.
This is my favorite set ever.
Okay.
This happened to me twice, right? This feeling of pure, just detachment, but complete immersion. So I did not have an emotional investment other than pure joy. It was so crazy. The entire set, it felt like time slowed down. I didn't want to win. I didn't want to lose. I just wanted to talk to him through the game. The entire time it was a conversation. You know
That's
what I'm
the
saying?
best thing you can do with somebody that doesn't speak your native language as well. So to do that, was it only 3 games?
Yeah, it was 3 games. I think he won 1 round.
It's like
Damn.
Yeah, legit. It was just like.
it was one setup in there, right?
And
So it's like
Problem X was just like
You just
staring at me like, "What? Did you just did that? Did he win that tournament? Did you find it?"
It was actually Dogura that won that tournament.
wait, he won first place.
Canada Cup 2017.
He won first place, Canada.
Yeah.
Cup?
Damn.
Yeah. Dogura.
Oh wait a minute. Sagat
Might
came
be.
out 2018, right?
Oh yeah, that would. Okay, let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, I
was
think
like,
it was
Dogura won
2018.
first.
Yeah. Here, I'll get it.
Is this
Yeah.
the time they had the 5v5? Like the everyone, there's Japan 1, Japan 2, USA 1, USA 2.
I think so. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Tokito won this tournament.
Yeah. Because when he walked in, everybody was like,
Oh, he's about to win.
Tokito
Yeah.
beat Zhao Hai for grand finals, and Justin Wong got 3rd with Minaj. who
Yeah,
was new at the
that
time.
sounds right. Okay.
Yeah. No, I saw
Um,
you were there in 2017 though. I'm looking at the recap posts on several.
Damn.
websites.
We don't have to bring that one up right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just
That's
felt.
your best set. That's your favorite set.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
So the other time I felt like that was when Justin came to Boston.
Oh,
So,
you
yeah.
know the game Underground. Sorry.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I usually put a lot of pressure on myself, right? Because when I used to play when I was younger, I still do it to this day, because ego is always going to be with you. I played to fulfill a void, right?
Yeah.
To fulfill some void that I had in my mind about myself that I could compensate through results, which is obviously not true. So when Justin came, everybody was like, oh, yeah, I was winning everything at the time, right? So everybody's like, oh, Zach, you're going to win, huh, right? And it was weird because on the drive up there, I did not actually care about this tournament. But I wanted to play. So it's funny because it felt so anime. Like, you remember the GU at Framingham? How, like, they have the big projector or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just seeing people getting bodied by Justin, right? It's
Yeah.
like in the anime when the main character is just seeing all of his friends getting their asses whooped, getting thrown, like, bodies flying,
It's like
right?
Goku about to arrive to Earth.
Yeah, I was just watching, and it was so weird. I had this sense of calm.
You're like, I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, I didn't care. But when we played, I beat him 2-0 in winners,
Yeah.
right? And then he won the first match of grand finals. But when I lost, I was like, I won. I literally said I won when I lost. I was like,
Damn.
oh, I won. And then I won 3 straight, and I eliminated him. Yeah, legit. It was so like that's the real me that I like. My ego wants to activate. I still don't think I've played that well until Tokido, and even though I won an LBC, I still don't think I played that well.
That's
Never
the cleanest you've ever played.
That is the most pure I've ever played. Because I didn't play flawlessly.
Yeah.
But my mind didn't have a sense of flaw. I didn't understand the idea of failure when I was playing. That's the thing, is like, imagine children, when they walk, I always say this example, they have no idea of the concept of failing. So when they fall, they just get up and do it. That's what was happening.
They only react because they see our faces, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and we look at them, they're like, oh, I should cry now because you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You see, we're the ones that are uploading.
Yeah.
You know? So those two moments are when I didn't have I had no idea what it meant to fail. I made mistakes. I didn't play my best. I didn't anti-everything. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. But I was so in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In the moment.
It was unreal.
I've heard that phrase before from you, in the moment. To be in the moment, in both of those sets, I feel a sense of detachment from the circumstances that could have been surrounding the moment, such as your first time in the Japanese players' hotel room playing casuals, your first impression to leave on, an elite player or a god.
And I've lived those experiences before, and I've had the nervousness. All that stuff has happened to me in other situations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everything you're saying, I've lived it.
That's why they stand out.
Yeah. And going back to the book, the reason why this sticks out, especially as I grow older, more experienced, I recognize the focus, the quality of my focus. When something happened to me, a challenge, an error, I was excited because it was an opportunity. It was weird, but I didn't know I was doing it. Every time I made a mistake, it was an opportunity to get better than myself at that moment. So the thing about me is my focus is very intense. So you notice, like, I get tunnel vision easily. So if I get emotional, it's very difficult for me to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right? But when that focus is mastered, those are the two examples. This is the journey I'm on, is to get to those moments and live that moment in all paths of life, all parts, every phase.
Like the perfect answer to that.
You know what I'm saying? It's to just look at every challenge, setback, and failure as an opportunity. Changing the value, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That numerical value that I give to those bad things, those mistakes. If I turn it into something constructive, that's when I am
I'm using that as a weapon.
peak. That's when I'm telling you this now. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But if I end up mastering that, I will win Evo. I will win Capcom Cup. No hesitation. Because at that point, it's just nothing you can do.
Yeah.
That's so powerful, too. In forgetting about having to put the scene on your back and beat Justin for Boston or whatever.
Right.
You get to successfully put the scene on your back.
Right, yeah. And that was dope. And then afterwards, like, I remember when I beat him in Winter, somebody came to dap me up. And it was on stream. The archive's still on the GU channel. And I was like, don't touch me. I legit was like, yo, I didn't win. Relax. Like,
you still have to see them again.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna see him again. I remember Kevin kept saying, he's like, Zach, you didn't have to do that. And I was like, I know I didn't have to do that, but at the time that was my integrity, was to do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean it like I didn't think any less of the person, but it was just because in that moment that was authentic to me. So I'm gonna go back to the book real quick. So the reason why this book in that moment are just so interlinked is because in that book, Mihai, who's the author, says that in life you have challenge and you have skill. If you have too much challenge, not enough skill, you produce what? Anxiety. If you have too much skill, not enough challenge, you produce what? Boredom. Right? So the idea is to have the right amount of challenge, just beyond slightly your maximum capacity of skill, so that you are forced to focus. So what happens with me is I notice nothing is ever really difficult to me because of my ability to learn. So what is difficult? My emotions. So I noticed to get into this state, what's consistently been working for me is seeing my emotions while I'm emotional. That is the hardest thing I've ever had to
aware of it.
Yeah, to be aware of it while I'm emotional. You know what I'm saying? Objectively, though, and being accepting that. So
that's hard.
It's
do
hard.
It in the moment, to get over it quick, to be like, to go from triggered to accept that it happened to turning it into a power. This happens in the speed in which you have to do.
You have to forgive yourself. That's the thing I learned this week. Forgiveness is the part that I was missing. Is you have to forgive yourself for whatever mistake you made, and the emotion and experiencing the emotion, having it, and even being mad in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to be emotionless to be a master of my emotions. But so when it happens, I have to forgive myself. Like, yo, it's okay. This is a part of the journey. You know?
When did you forgive yourself this week?
When did I forgive myself this week? Oh, I was playing. I was playing the other night, actually, off stream.
Mm-hmm.
I was really salty the other day because CFM pisses me off.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can't do anything about that.
Yeah, and the other night I lost to somebody. There was a theme in my loss for that day where it was like I would win the first match, second match I would lose because I started playing with
I think
fear,
I tuned in this one.
right? And I was angry. I was like, yo, why am I losing like this? I know I'm losing. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, yo, reinvest that energy. It's okay. Forgive myself. It's all right. Like, it wasn't. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it because of carelessness. And I didn't do it on purpose. So it's a genuine mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, whoa, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, all right,
Yeah.
I'm in the zone. And then I just started streaking. You know?
Yeah.
It's funny, man.
Streaking.
It's just weird. But yeah.
You know shunyata in Buddhism? That it's this idea that you are only at your best and most powerful and peaceful when you detach yourself from all the bonds that bind you to things. I think we're dancing around that idea quite a bit. So just something to also get reading on if you're interested.
That makes sense. Your identity is your ego is your identity extended onto things, right? It's branched off of things. So if I lose my phone, it hurts me because it's my phone. If you lose your phone, no offense, Handy, it's not gonna hurt me.
It's not gonna hurt you.
It's not gonna hurt me because it's not.
You have no attack. Yeah.
There's no sense of loss, right?
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. Like, how do I do something as swiftly as possible and as objectively without any emotional attachment? If I have emotions, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you studied Japanese. You know, you've gone to Japan by yourself and everything like that. So like, talk to me a little bit about what you've learned while you visited the motherland. Like, what did you learn? What did you take away from it, and what did you feel like you can really bring back?
World warrior shit.
Yeah.
When I went there, I still have my notes from Japan on my Evernote. So I want to pull this out just for dramatic effect.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
We could play like a drum roll here.
Definitely.
I got you.
I
just wanna-
in the air.
Jazz fingers for it.
Yeah.
I just want to show. Okay, come on, sync.
Oh yeah, you might need a Wi-Fi password or something. Hopefully not. It's probably just a text file. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just text.
Mm.
Let me see. Sorry.
So was this around the time of the first Evo Japan in 2018, or did you just go on your own regardless of any event?
The first time I went, I was 21, so that was 2014.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the second time I went was last October for Evo Japan. So the first time I went because I wanted to get a head start on the US for Ultra Street Fighter. So I went during the beta phase.
Wow.
So this is when Relento's EX Patriot Circle was invincible. This was when...
That's crazy.
Yeah, Nemo was absolutely
Having
loose. He was Lucifer. He was a Japanese Lucifer
Yeah.
because let me tell you,
People
man,
hate-
that dude
yeah.
was thrashing everybody.
That's still comboed into Ultra then too, right?
Yeah, you could do
Oh,
knife into ultra. Yeah.
Imagine wake up DP without just one bar into Ultra. That's basically what Rolento was doing for 450, 500 damage religiously.
God.
It was crazy.
Also anti-air.
So I went there, to Japan, because I wanted to get a head start. And when I went, it was dope because that's when I started to really pay attention to community habits, community philosophy. Because I noticed, I was like, when I was playing,
What do they
I was
do?
taking notes. So I'm like, oh, I have a very similar theme in my wins and losses against these guys, regardless of who I'm playing. So I started to really pay attention to that. So when I came back, that's one of the things I really paid attention to was like, how does New York play? How does so even now, I'll give you a little
Region.
tidbit. Watch New York. When you get them cornered, they like to jump out. You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that. Because when you play somebody enough, you kind of absorb little things from their play style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you give. So it's like it's a dynamic. It's a dichotomy, right? So you're playing somebody all the time. You're gonna rub off on each other. So that's one of the things in game, of course. And then in terms of like society and stuff like that, I learned to be very meticulous, pay attention to things, put your all into something. You know what I'm saying? Like you have Japanese people that'll be the best at one type of sushi, You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Dedicate
Yeah.
their entire lineage to being
like-
the best at that. You know, and it's that challenge is what makes life worth living to them. You know. So.
So we got a lot of newer players entering Street Fighter, entering fighting games in general, right? Like we got a lot of newer blood, if you will. What advice would you be able to give these newer players going in and trying to take competition seriously, take hopefully make it like a full-time thing? Like, what would you tell them?
Full-time hobby for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. If you're gonna do it, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. A lot of people lie to themselves, man. A lot of people do things, but they don't know why they're doing it. You gotta know why are you doing it.
Yeah.
You have to know, because what happens is you will derail. It's going to happen. It is inevitable. So you need to be reminded as to why you're doing it. But it has to be a reminder, not in just as a reward-based focus, but like your values. Like your values will always help you align and make things a lot easier to deal with. It will make it easier for you to face adversity and appreciate challenges, because you'll know it's for your character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some people, like Luffy. Luffy loves playing because of the money, right? He loves the money, but at least he has that integrity. He understands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not faking the funk.
No.
You know, so that harmony is important.
Nothing wrong with it either.
There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
it, but there's something wrong with it when you're lying to yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not in harmony, and your actions and your mind are at a difference.
And it's gonna show too. Like you can't really do
you
it for
can't.
long.
Yeah, because your actions are what.
Yeah,
really
people are gonna
say.
know.
The
Yeah.
words anybody can say. I can fly. All right, fly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Run and jump off the ground and show me you can fly. Your
Right.
actions speak way more to me than
Yeah.
your words. You know what I'm saying? So
Even if you hit the ground quickly, as long as you jumped off of whatever it is, I'm convinced you can fly.
I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Legit. I wish I could find these. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I wanted to just scroll.
Yeah, I understand.
Sorry, we can go through fun questions right now. Little chill questions until you. If you want, I can give you the Wi-Fi so you can. If
No,
that's
I don't
gonna,
think
if that's
it's.
gonna
I
help.
don't think it's a Wi-Fi thing. I just think I can't find it.
All right, going to a little bit of fun questions right now. Really quick, the upcoming Capcom Cup that's going on right now. We are all. If you guys are watching this in October, November, the Capcom Cup is next month, potentially. Who do you think is gonna take it? Who do you like to take it? And who do you think is going to take it?
Regarding the format of online qualifiers, are they going to fly people out for an offline event?
It's going to be offline. Capcom Cup is going to be offline.
Yeah, it's gonna be offline,
Yeah.
but I don't know where it's gonna be. It's probably gonna be Cali.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in France this year, right? But obviously that's not happening. So.
Yeah, definitely not.
Who do I think is gonna?
And then there's the community vote person.
Oh, really?
They
Yeah,
still
but
didn't
it
do
has
that
to be
yet.
somebody that already qualified the previous years.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
can't be just
Okay.
all that. Wow. So he can't like spirit bomb it. Like Zaf can't be like,
Yeah.
yo, last second have everybody drop like 2K.
If I
votes.
did, if I could have done it, I would have stayed with Sagat because I would have easily won.
Yeah.
I would have easily won.
You have so many highlight reels. You have so much like.
Sagat, people would be like, "Yo, I need to see this.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to see this."
You need to be
That's what, so I didn't know that. It has to be someone from the
Yeah.
previous. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do I think is gonna win it?
That's an easy question, bro. We're going through the fun ones right now.
I don't think Daigo's gonna win it.
Oh, you don't?
I don't think he's gonna win it.
Who do you think is gonna take it?
I think Smug.
I think Smug's gonna win
I
Capcom
think
Cup.
Smug is
Smug is gonna win 250K.
Smug is
Yeah.
such a great representative of the kind of philosophy of training while having fun.
Yeah.
Earlier, even before the interview, and during this conversation, we've talked about how you need a balance of pleasure and challenge. And in streaming, you have to kind of create an atmosphere of pleasure for the audience, and that's difficult to do if you're not having fun yourself as well, whether it's aided by music or by conversation or dialogue. So Smug training online by being a streamer and even being willing to like cut to close-ups of his own face in the middle of the round reacting to stuff and being silly, adding sound effects to every G jump medium kick with a whoosh. What was the flaming hot Cheetos kick? That's it. You know, that I think that energy transferred then into being a competitor makes him like an almost invincible tournament player. He's so there's a reason he qualified already. I mean, and like I was wondering if that could be a conversational bridge to talk about you wanting to have fun at the level of character choice too. Because you said it like if you were still a Sagat loyalist, the fan poll would be yours.
Yeah,
you know?
easily.
Yeah.
But I stopped playing Sagat because I stopped having fun with him.
Yeah.
To be honest, because there's so many more dimensions of the game I'd like to experience consistently, but online makes it very difficult. If we were offline, or if we had that fan poll thing, whatever, and I was allowed to be a part of it, I'd still play Sagat. But offline, I definitely want to return to Sagat because the way I was developing Sagat, I really felt like I could win a premier event with him only.
What's your favorite tournament? Like, what's your favorite event? Fighting event.
To go to?
It doesn't have to be to go to. Just like your favorite event. Like, you're like, oh, that was kind of cool. That's kind of dope.
It used to be Shadaloo Showdown,
Oh, shit.
but they stopped and it turned into BAM. Battle.
At Melbourne?
Yeah, and got canceled this year.
Damn.
It was gonna be a premiere event too, but Shadaloo Showdown was just so intense, man. I don't know. It was just something about the Japanese players flying that far, but it wasn't to America.
Yeah.
And just like the way the boss logic graphics and stuff like that. It was just, I don't know. It was something about that tournament. It was always godlike because you have Japanese players that you wouldn't see in America go there. Like Shingoku Neurosis went there.
Yeah,
right?
the Bison player.
And
the Hagijin, the Zangief that nobody knows about.
yeah, he went.
Like,
But who's the Kami player? Bon.
4 or 5 Bonbon.
Is-
BBBN.
Oh.
Yeah. Right? It was
He's not known for
random.
Dragon
Then,
Ball.
hold on, but there's also that jury. That old
I-
jury.
I don't know if he went there, but I think Ai's first big tournament was Evo when he got top 8.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was his first like outside of Japan experience.
Nuts.
But Shadaloo Showdown. To go to, it used to be CEO, but man, combo breaker.
Yeah, they really
They
took the
go.
cake. They really took the cake.
And I heard what is it in Europe?
Shout outs to Rick.
In Europe,
Celtic, is that what
no,
you think?
the other one. The one in Belgium.
Brussels Challenge.
Yes, I heard that is the European combo
Yeah,
breaker. I had my flight booked, Airbnb booked, and that was me. That tournament was the weekend of my birthday. I was so hyped, man.
How long ago do you get? Shout outs to the European tournaments.
And then, womp womp, COVID.
Got a favorite player? Dad's watching, so be careful.
I know. Favorite player? Oof.
Again,
It
does
depends.
not mean Street Fighter 2. It should be like, yo.
It depends. So I have a bunch of categories, right? So like coolest name, Knee. I think Knee's name is amazing.
Oh,
One
from
syllable
Tekken? Yo, I thought it was like, that's hard.
Right.
That's hard. And Tekken actually, they have a bunch, what is
They
it,
have a
Low
bunch of
Strong?
names.
I still like, I was like, they got some.
Q-Dons, that name is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yo, they have the dopest names, man.
Tekken has the dopest
But
names.
Knee is like, for one, it's 4 letters, one syllable.
Saint.
So,
Yeah, dude.
so
I don't
godlike.
even know what he's saying though.
Dope.
Right.
No, but you don't even
I
know.
believe it.
But you know what makes me Catholic after it, bro? I was sitting there, I was
I
like,
just believe it.
I believed. I was like,
that's it.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
I was
It's
like,
Saint.
right.
bro.
Saint.
But like, say for like inspiration, for the science of the game, Sako, 100%. Sako, 1000%.
Sako Noko, man.
Because Sako is like, he was the player that I would look at. Kaizen Master, of course, too, but like, Sako was the competitive player I'd look at and be like, yo, he experiments with everything.
He's also still doing it. He's out here being like Brady, playing at 40 and like
Yeah.
Won a premier event last year at 40.
at 40.
At 40. 40 years old.
Yeah.
And he's the pioneer of Seth Tech.
And he's still, yeah.
And he has a kid and a wife. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What can you say? All right.
None. But if it's like, for zoning, of course, Daigo, right? Daigo. That's not even
How
a
long?
question.
How
right?
long did it?
Kaizen
Until I was
Master,
trying to
not
fish
a
for
question.
this. How
Most-
long until I tried to fish for that answer,
Right.
bro? I was like,
yeah.
well, who was your
totally-
favorite Japanese fireball throwing,
Yeah, the filters were getting
bookmaking?
more
I was
specific.
trying to get. I was like, how long do I gotta do?
I was like, his initials are DU. Who's your favorite
I'm like,
player with
who's your
DU
favorite with
initials?
DUs? And then just sit there.
Bro,
Dude.
Diego
He's like-
Umehara?
I'm like, you know what?
But, yeah,
Cool.
I'd say that.
Yeah, having just one particular favorite is just not doable for me.
Also, I want to scroll.
Okay, cool.
I have the notes.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah, I just want to.
Okay, cool.
These are my notes from Japan.
Well,
The
that's
first
a
time I
huge
went.
document. You're gonna have to send that over. As
I was about to
text
say,
file,
like
too.
you. Here's the thing: it's actually required to be on FrameData that you send.
I mean, it's a
all
mix
notes
of it's a
over.
mix of life
I'm still
experience
scrolling.
with Street Fighter frame
That's
data.
crazy.
I see.
Yeah?
I'm still scrolling.
It's like character portraits.
Oh
and
damn!
things. Send it over.
As like, if I were to convert this,
I'm
into,
still scrolling. Okay, now I finally. Finally.
that,
Like,
was at least 30 pages of scrolling.
2 weeks I was there for 2 weeks, 15 days. I went every single day except for one day. The one day I slept for 15 hours because of jet lag.
Damn.
Bodied.
I saw some photos in there too, kind of chronicling the experience and attaching a nice image and like a social element to the moment too.
Yeah, that's when I met Boss. I met Boss because
Dude, if there's anybody that's still doing it, this man loves. Nobody loves CVS2 the way he does.
yeah, he's.
So
I met him.
it's 2020, and he's like, I still love this game.
I met him because the prior like goat of our scene was Nestor.
Oh damn, that's way back.
Yeah,
that's
Nestor
before
and him are
Craig
close.
the Stevens bros.
Yeah, because Nestor went to Japan and trained with Boss in CVS too.
Oh, Tom, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Nobody
so,
talked about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Nestor liked me a lot because I reminded him of himself, and Nestor was like, "Yo, meet up with Boss," and I was like, "All right." So when I went, talked to him, and we met up, and we grabbed ramen. It was pretty dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
Matt, if you have any, we'll wrap this up with a final question, but unless you have a question you'd like to ask.
I'll think of something.
Okay.
If you have a final saying, a mantra, anything that you live by, what sentence, or how would you sum up that mantra, and what is it, how would you put it?
I had one too, but I know I say something all the time, but I don't know.
Alright, if you was a kitchen appliance, what would you be, and why?
You know I'm gonna be a blender, dude.
Someone else said fridge, and I was like, why? Because I got all the items in me, man. I got all the tools. I was
storing
like,
the
that's
knowledge.
so good.
Well, a
That's
fridge
so
has a lot of
good.
potential in it.
Yeah,
You
fridge
said
was
any
a good
kitchen
answer.
appliance?
If
Like
you were any kitchen appliance, what would you be? And
I'd
why?
be a sponge because I'm a
Soak up.
sponge. I soak in a lot of
That's a
stuff.
good one.
And
Actually,
because I wash handy every time I play.
scrap that question immediately. Scrap
Alright.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm in control of this edit. It's definitely gonna stay with it.
I keep forgetting.
I gotta make sure I have
He
a
is the
serious
editor.
face.
I didn't
Also-
even forget that I do.
Cleaning the dirt out of the game, restoring discipline and order with anti-RDP, fireball game fundamentals. You know, that's
Alright.
definitely very spongy too. So, just as we talked about traveling to Europe, of course, we all reached the current moment of pandemic, and I wonder, as someone who said you could isolate yourself pretty easily, as someone myself that's missing the hell out of locals and the atmosphere, but still trying to build a fighting game presence and like something tangible, whether it be tournament or commentary or videos, have you been discouraged in the current moment, and what are some of the things you're trying to do to make sure that you still feel like there's a future for you and anybody that loves you in the scene?
Yeah, I definitely got discouraged. I'm not gonna lie to you, 100%.
Yeah.
But it's because I forget why I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And what I do is I try to use my play, whether you watching or you learning from me directly, as a means of elevating people inside and outside the game, right?
Mhm.
So that's my contribution to the scene. I want anybody that comes through my stream, or I see in real life, or I talk to, or I do interviews with, I want you guys to walk away as better people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Trying to
that's what matters to me. That's life. That's
Yeah.
substance. You know.
Yeah.
But for my own like selfish reasons, I like to look at myself as the avatar of Street Fighter, right? Where I want to go and collect every element and master them all. You know.
Yeah.
So that helps me because I know regardless of if the tournament, if I'm on Capcom Cup or whatever, I can still do that. I can still learn. I can still.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that helps me like realign. And that's why I said earlier, you gotta know your values.
Ultimately, you don't even like to be defined by a single. To be like, oh, that's Zaf the fireball thrower, or oh, Zaf the combo
can't
expert.
stand
You're
it.
like, I don't want to be
No.
known. Okay.
That's
Good.
why I didn't like when people were like, oh, the Fei Long player or the Sagat player. Like,
The
no, I'm a
Chinese player?
Street Fighter.
Bro, you
Player.
think you got it? I'm over here. You're losing to a Smash player?
Oh.
Play fast, play
Oh.
slow.
I'm saying, yo, he plays Smash.
I will say, it is really interesting that you played Cammy, the fast character, Sagat, the slow character, and have now arrived at Akuma, the medium ground
The what?
jack of all trades.
I want to know how you're gonna put it.
Perfect.
The best. I was about to say, I'm like,
The best?
go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm like,
I'm playing him because
Please
honestly,
say
I
it.
think I've gone through the spectrum enough to where now it's like I think I'm ready for a top tier character.
Also, you can
Yeah.
see it too. You can come up with, you can understand why he's the best to you. You see it. You're like, yes, he's the best, but that's because I've seen bad.
Yeah, but right, yeah. Legit,
No, I
that's
see what you
legit.
mean. You're not
That's
you're not
legit.
listening to people's tier lists.
That is
You're
facts.
like I've played bad,
Yeah.
so I know he's the best because I see it now. Like
And it sticks out. It's like
It's not-
way more obvious.
that
you
he's
know
the
what I'm
best.
saying?
Yes.
You played Meaty Tiger Shot on their knockdown. Now you get to play Crush Counter Sweep Hard Knockdown, Meaty Air Fireball 50-50 mix up into another hard knockdown.
Yeah, my fire. Imagine Sagat with a fireball that
one
knocks
option.
down. That
That's
doesn't
just-
even make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, you load V skill and you still don't have juggle points.
Like other people,
that's
pick the
crazy.
best simply by hearsay, right? Like, or there was Tokido. We all know he only plays the best characters, but that's not enough for you. For you, you're like, I want to feel it.
Yeah.
I want to feel it myself as to why this character is the best. You don't listen to hearsay. You know?
Yeah, I am completely against community opinion. I am such a contrarian. It's not
Brian,
even
Brian F
funny.
also
Yeah.
said something similar where he's like, rule of thumb in FGC, everything, criticize everything, be skeptical of everything, and trust yourself first. Then listen.
Yeah, of course. Like, because there are a lot of you got to remember the thing about humans is that we seek comfort and security.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, you know that it's more likely, if we're talking about probability,
Yeah.
it is more likely that this information
Is
is
false.
soured by
Yeah.
that fact, right?
Yeah.
So I automatically, if somebody's like,
Sus.
Sagat's trash, I'm like, all right, I'm playing Sagat. Well, I was going to play him regardless, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I
but-
played him.
Yeah, to
You know
be
what
like,
I'm
even if they're right, you're like, it's right by my
Yes, my experience.
my journey through
Yeah,
it, not
nobody
because
can
of what
take it away
any.
from me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My truth. Because that's the thing is, there's something called chauffeur knowledge, right? It's knowledge that you pick up from somebody else and wear it on your head like it's yours. Walking around like,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But it's not
yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
True knowledge is what
Experience.
you've experienced and you've suffered through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And life is
That's
about
perfect.
experience, and experience is pain, right? So I have to live a certain pain to understand things
Yeah.
and make it my own. So that's how I am. And I'm glad you asked me that question because it's like kind of consolidating a lot of this for me. Because I don't really think about this stuff like that. But yeah, I want to make it my own reality, my own truth. Nobody can take away from me.
Zaf, if people want to be able to watch you, follow you, or anything, how could they do that?
On Twitch, Zaferino1. On YouTube, Zaferino1. And on Twitter, Zaferino1. So it's the same across the board, so that way you don't get confused.
There's only one Zaferino.
There's
only one
If you
Zaferino.
say it out loud, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you guys
Also, Zap won the set.
That's why I'm
Let me
saying.
report the score real quick.
Zaferino won.
Yeah. That's the end of the narrative.
Shout outs to Tay. Because Tay is who I got. You remember Tay?
yeah,
KOF Tay.
Yeah.
Tay won. He
Yeah.
told me this story. I was
This
like,
is-
oh, I'm going to do the same thing.
there's so much. There's actually that
That's
describes
it.
so many other questions that I even want to bring up with you. We don't have the time, unfortunately. That's been it for the Zaferino long-awaited, long-requested episode. Zaf, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. GDX gang.
GDX gang.
We've
Mr.
been blessed with your presence.
That's
the
been
legend himself.
Trying
Trying to take his powers like Shang Tsung, but he won't give it to me.
commentator, player, everything. This has been an episode of Beyond Frame Data. We out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.